Namaste children, I am Hari Prasad, your chemistry teacher. Children, we will move on to the next question. That is question number 7. Element with greater metallic nature. The options are magnesium, aluminium, silicon and sodium. Children, before we proceed with this one, a small question. What is the meaning of a metallic nature? Obviously the answer is tendency to lose the electron. What is the meaning of a non-metallic nature? Tendency to gain the electron. Children, one example. Suppose if I hold the hand like this, it is called as nucleus. And if I hold the hand like this, that is the outermost shell containing electrons. Now, for an example, we will consider this one. This is atom number 1. Observe the size very carefully. And this is atom number 2. Observe very carefully. Now, out of 1 and 2, the bigger one is 1. That is, the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell containing electron is more. As the distance increases, the force of attraction between nucleus and the outermost electron will be very, very less. So, this atom has got more tendency to lose the electron. When you consider atom number 2, which is small, the distance between the nucleus and the outermost electron is less. Because of that, the force of attraction between nucleus and outermost electron will be more. So, rather than losing, this atom has got more tendency to gain. So, conclusion from this one is, bigger atom has got more tendency to lose, that is metallic nature. Smaller atom has got more tendency to gain, that is non-metallic nature. Now coming to this one, we'll arrange this one. When we arrange, the atoms are something like this. It is sodium, magnesium, aluminium and silicon. The property is metallic nature. Now metallic nature is here. Across the period, the metallic nature is going to what? Decrease, right? The one with the less metallic nature will be towards the right hand side, and the one with the more metallic nature will be towards the left hand side. Children, we know that these elements belong to period 3. So, across the period, the metallic nature is going to what? Decrease. So, the one with the maximum metallic nature will be sodium. So, the correct answer is sodium. Okay children, let us move to the next question. Element with greater non-metallic nature. As I told you, non-metallic nature is nothing but tendency to gain. Who will gain? The atom which is small. Now, the options what they have given is silicon, phosphorus, chlorine and sulfur. Let me arrange these elements first. When I arrange these elements, it is something like this. Silicon will come first and then phosphorus, sulfur and chlorine. Now, non-metallic nature, across the period it is going to what? Increase. The meaning of this one is, the one which is in the right side of the periodic table, it is having a greater non-metallic nature, and the one which is left side of the periodic table, that is having a less non-metallic nature. That is, when you go across the period, right, the non-metallic nature is going to what? Increase, right? So out of these 4, the one which is having a greater non-metallic nature is chlorine. And one more thing, out of these 4, right, the smallest atom is chlorine. So that's why it is having a greater non-metallic nature. Okay children, let us proceed with the next question. Element with highest or maximum atomic radius. The options are aluminium, magnesium, boron and beryllium. As usual, we'll arrange these elements very fast. So when we arrange these elements, it is something like this. Beryllium and boron, these two belongs to period 2, and magnesium and aluminium, these two belongs to period 3. Now children, atomic radius, yes. Atomic radius across the period, it is going to what children? Decrease, and down the group, atomic radius is going to what? Increase. That is, if the atomic radius decreases across the period, out of these two, which is the smallest? So boron, right? Out of magnesium and aluminium, which is the smallest? Aluminium. But these two are totally ruled out because we are looking for an element which is having a highest atomic radius. So we are left out with beryllium and magnesium. Okay, now down the group, the atomic radius is going to what? Increase. So when you go down the group, if the atomic radius increases, out of beryllium and magnesium, which is having a greater atomic radius, the answer is magnesium. Okay children, let us proceed with the next question. Element with lowest or minimum atomic radius. The options are carbon, silicon, lithium and sodium. First we'll arrange these elements. When we arrange, it is something like this: lithium, carbon. So these two belongs to period 2, and sodium and silicon. So these two belongs to period 3. Now children, this is just opposite to the last question. In the last question we were looking for a atom which is having a greater atomic radius. Now we are looking for a atomic radius which is lowest. That is, across the period the atomic radius will decrease, and down the group the atomic radius is going to what? Increase. So out of lithium and carbon, carbon is the smallest, and out of sodium and silicon, silicon is the smallest. Okay, so these two are ruled out because these two are having a greater atomic radius when you compare these two. Now out of carbon and silicon, which is the smallest atom? So when you go down the group, the atomic radius is going to what children? Increase. That is, when you go down the group, carbon will come first and silicon comes later. That is, the size of the silicon is what children? Big when compared to carbon. So the one with smallest atomic radius will be carbon. Okay children, let us proceed to the next question, right? Element which forms cations most readily. The options are magnesium, beryllium, sodium and lithium. Children, before we proceed with this one small question. How do you identify which is a cation and which is an anion? Most of the children have this confusion, but we have one simple technique. A cation, say cation, what is cation, right? T, when you observe T very carefully, it looks like what children? Plus. So the one with the positive charge, we call it as what? Cation. Once you know the cation, anion is nothing but what children? Negative, right? Now children, plus indicates dash of electron, loss of electron. Minus indicates dash of electron, gain of electron. Now, in this question, we are looking for an element which will form a cation, right? Most readily. That is, who is ready to lose the electron? Now it's very simple. Bigger atom has got more tendency to lose the electron, and smaller atom has got more tendency to gain the electron. Now children, first let me arrange these things, right? When I arrange, it is something like this: lithium, beryllium, okay, sodium, magnesium. We all know that across the period the size will what? Decrease, atomic radius, and down the group it is going to increase. So out of these two, beryllium is the small atom, and out of these two, magnesium is the small, right? The smaller atom will not lose the electron. Only which atoms will lose? Bigger atom. Now, out of lithium and sodium, which is the biggest atom? Common sense says that down the group, the atomic radius is going to what children? Increase. So, sodium is biggest and lithium is smallest. So, the answer is sodium. That is, it has more tendency to form cation. Right children? Okay children, let us proceed with the next question. Element which forms anion most readily. The options are fluorine, boron, nitrogen and carbon. Children, we all know that, again I am telling, bigger atom has got more tendency to lose Obviously, the smaller atom has got more tendency to gain. Now, out of these 4 atoms, we should look for an element which is small, that will form the anion most readily. Now, if I arrange these elements, it is something like this. So, it is boron, carbon, nitrogen and fluorine. Now, common sense says that these elements belong to period 2. So, when you go across the period, the atomic radius is going to what? Decrease. Out of these 4, the smallest is fluorine. So, fluorine has got more tendency to form anion. So, the answer is fluorine. Okay, children? Now, children, I have posted the link in the description. If you want, you can download all these questions from there. Okay, children? I hope you understood the questions what I have discussed. Okay, children? Thank you. Namaste.